And good morning. I'm your friend Scotty Ray. It is Tuesday, August the 11th. I had to pause and think just a second there. August the 11th, we're nearly mid-month of another one. Time's getting away from us there. Now, before long, we'll be talking about Labor Day, won't we? It's coming quickly. Right now, 74 as you're waking up. 95 is what we expect on the thermometer, but as usual, it'll be hotter than that, or at least it'll feel like it. 105 this afternoon in the Meridian area, and as you get past Newton County, it'll get worse all the way to Jackson, somewhere around 110. So if you're watching from those areas, it's extreme hot and south of us too. We'll look at the map here in a minute. We'll look at that coverage of where it's planned to be the hottest in the state of Mississippi as we begin this day. Again, a nice day. I did get a report. I don't have the exact address of a possible structure fire near Lake this morning. Haven't gotten the exact address, so if you know a little bit more about that, pass that along to us. So that's going on. Keep that family in your thoughts. That's always a scary thing with house fires. We hope everything is okay as we get more details on that coming in. A lot to talk about today. You want to talk about fast of renaming something, we've got a story for you coming up that, woof, it was quick. Plus, we've got all your local headlines. Sonic, boy, they were busy there last night. Everybody from the fire department showed up for a milkshake, I think. I'll tell you about that at 7. That's up and coming. Right now, let's go to Collinsville to the First Baptist Church and get our message for the day.
A deadly disease or infection is never something to play around with. If left unchecked, it can spread throughout the body and cause major harm. And sometimes even death. Well, in Paul's second letter to Timothy, he equates false teaching with being just like that, though perhaps, or really even worse, because it attacks the spiritual health rather than the physical. He tells Timothy, avoid irreverent and empty speech, since those who engage in it will produce even more godlessness, and their teaching will spread like gangrene. Your translation may say like cancer. You think back to when COVID was first on the scene, and regardless of your thoughts from a political perspective, the truth is we all took measures we needed to in order to try to remain healthy and safe. Well, so it is with false teaching that would seek to distort or dismantle what God has said in His Word. Specific to this situation was the denial of a bodily resurrection for believers. There were those who said that, hey, that was more theoretical, it's already done with. And Paul says, avoid that like the plague, because guess what? It is a plague. It may be something else in your life, right? Something like the prosperity gospel. It says, believe in Jesus, and God will grant you all the material and physical desires of your heart. And if He doesn't, you just got to have more faith. We may see someone question the deity of Christ, right? That, well, He's not actually God's son. He didn't actually live a perfect life. Look, we could chase all those rabbits. But whatever we hear, we must always weigh it and measure it against God's revealed word. That's why Paul says to Timothy, let everyone who calls on the name of the Lord turn away from wickedness. At the end of the day, truth stands firm in a culture of confusion. Run from false teaching. Run to Jesus. Change begins in you.
The Change Begins in You is brought to you in part by Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that message. I was just telling Odie of, boy, you want to talk about fast. It's faster than fast, as we have a base now named after Lindsey Graham. Oh, yeah, that's what this released this morning. Secretary Pete Hegseth and Senator Darline Graham have officially unveiled the renaming of Joint Base Charleston to Joint Base Lindsey Graham. Wow. I'm talking about lettering and all out front. It was some kind of quick. They must have voted on that ferociously quick there. That happened in South Carolina. As we get more intel on that, we'll pass that along. That's really, truly, I think, the fastest I've ever heard of anything renamed. Quick. Okay, I'll keep that other thought to mind. As we look at another concert has been canceled, if you're a big Rod Stewart fan, Rod, 81, has canceled another one. And all of this is some mystery illness that he has. Now, keep in mind that Rod's 81. Is it me, or do they all just keep going and going? And your Mick Jaggers, all these folks. We had the guy here, Bobby Rush, 90-something, still touring. Willie, it just keeps going and going and going. But Rod, apparently, those years of abuse is catching up with him from time to time on stage. Even Lionel Richie had to slow down. I'm sure he had to buy his daughter something else, and he had to keep going. My, oh, my. We see that Trump, this will upset a few. Trump has revoked over 175,000 visas as he cracks down on immigration. Some just don't get it. We have there is is the word I'm looking for lack of parenting? And we'll go to Canada for this story. Imagine you've got a trip to take, probably a business trip, and you got to be there at a certain time. That plane that you're on is going to connect with another airplane, most likely in another city, and you have to jump off that plane and run like the Dickens at the airport to get to the other plane. I've been there. I've done that. It's horrible. Then you got to find a subway, some of those big ones like Houston and Atlanta, and ride the tram, I think is what they call it, from one side of Fort Worth to the other. Humongous. But in Canada, the flight was delayed, all because a parent couldn't get their child to sit down in the seat and put their seatbelt on. Oh, I'm not joking. Jumping up and down, screaming and hollering to where they turned the airplane around and went back to the terminal and had to get the parent and the child off of the plane. Now, in the deep South, in Jackson, Mississippi, we probably know how that would have ended, don't we? It would have been ow. You don't do that here in the South. What are they teaching? Now, I'm not saying it couldn't happen, because you could have had somebody passing through Jackson, Mississippi, not from here. But somebody from the deep South just wouldn't let their child dictate and throw off an entire plane for everybody else. I got to be careful. Yeah. There's mamas that carry fly swatters in their purses. Y'all know that, those big purses. TSA has not caught on to that yet as to why a Southern lady carries a fly swatter. That really, in my opinion, and y'all tell me if I'm wrong, I think that is a lack of parenting, that a child dictates an entire plane. If you can't control a 3-year-old,
you don't need it.
Yeah, you really were not a parent. That's my 2 thoughts on it. I mentioned this in the comments. We have now a number 2 burger chain in America. Of course, McDonald's being the number 1. But Wendy's has fallen from grace. Burger King has surpassed it. They have now taken over the number 2 slot as a favorite burger in America in sales. It's not just some opinion. It's people going to the counter and going, I want it my way, instead of Dave's way, where they may not come back to the window. Oh, we may have just figured out what happened. I don't know where the answer to this is. McDonald's taking that step ahead. You've seen it here where you can go in and you can punch in your order. Even a few Subways have those now to where you can go up and do your own thing instead of trying to distinguish what somebody said through that little squawk box. No one has really caught on as the service as Chick-fil-A. Will that ever come back nationwide? I don't know. The problem is workers. People have become lazy. We all know this. And it's not just at fast food restaurants. It spreads to convenience stores. Oh, and then those companies that you call when you have a problem, and they go, hang on, and then they never come back. You've been there. The starter jobs. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. People, I remember going in Sears and you'd walk in and you were greeted. Well, they're gone now too, aren't they? Bad example. But hey, you can go to Lowe's and walk around for days and never be asked, can I help you? Y'all know I'm not lying. You hit the button, they ain't coming. Oh, and they also let you pre-order at home and have it waiting on you at the front desk. They'll even send you a text that says your order is ready, and then they can't find it when you go. Boy, this would be a great place for a Home Depot, wouldn't it? And you wonder why Amazon keeps growing. Click, and it arrives and you don't have any hassles. We've really got to do something in America. That work ethic is missing. If there's so many, and maybe I'm going too far on this, but there are so many assistance programs. It boils down to when me and my wife got married, and I promise you this, if I didn't work, we didn't eat. My parents gave us when I say absolutely nothing. We were on our own. And if I didn't figure out how to get a paycheck on Friday, we didn't get whatever it was. And it was years. And when I tell you it was years of struggling, it was tough. But I knew if I didn't put my boots on and go out the door, we had nothing at the end of the week or the end of the month, how you get paid.
So you're tired of too much milk.
Yeah, it's a lot of factors in that. Help, parents going back to the airplane thing of no discipline, and there's a lot of parents that are 60 and 70 paying for their 30 and 40-year-old kids to get by these days. And they think they're entitled. Okay, let's go on to something else before I get carried away. Have mercy. That like to got under my skin. Let's see, our earthquake in Colombia. Have y'all seen this morning? This is a pretty rough one there. 7.4 on the Richter scale as it hit. That's a tough one there. We hope everybody works out okay there. They've got a lot of people with dozens dead coming in from Colombia as we're looking at this story this morning. There's a mother, I didn't realize that maybe in the bigger cities they do this. In Mississippi, if you have summer school, you got to figure out how to get there and how to get home because, well, whatever you've done puts you there. But in New Jersey, apparently they still run school buses for summer school. Kid was left on the bus asleep. Bus driver didn't check it. Kid got off, was wandering around the little bus lot there for about an hour before it was missed. Somebody, hey, Lucy. Y'all know how that goes also there. Fauci, boy, this is getting deep. These government phones that employees carry are the people's phones. Now, if you have your personal phone, no one can get that information. But if the government is paying for it, the American taxpayer is entitled to know what's on it. And it's not looking good for Fauci. Have y'all seen all of this about miscarriages? To where initially they said, I think it's about an 8% chance that if you were to take the shot that it could make someone lose a child. As they get deeper into the text, allegedly 82% could lose a child getting that shot if they were pregnant during it. There's a lot of information out there. There's a lot that you were told that was not true. Do some reading on this today somewhere. It's the real truth out there about all of this. More and more this is coming out. I plead the fifth. You can't do that. Hold them accountable for what they do. We go to Wisconsin, and there's nothing worse than, as we get on these subjects of people not doing anything, than stealing from you, the American taxpayer. Yep, faking sicknesses to get money. Here's one 47-year-old. His name is Antonio Franklin. 18 months is what he's going to get for wire fraud. That's it. Stole, I think it's around $40,000 from you, the taxpayer, of faking sicknesses and getting Social Security checks and Veterans Administration. He goes on and on of what he got there. Whoa, more than $1 million. Well, he received $300,000. I had grossly underestimated that of what he stole, $300,000 from the American taxpayer. Now, you take that one person that done that. Imagine how many times in America this is done. Let's not even factor in what was going on in Minnesota, what we know is starting to show in California. How do we even pay our bills with the amount of fraudulent and scheming people there are in America? It just breaks my soul. And then on top of that, people calling your phone, scamming you out of money, trying to get you to help this one and that one, and they drain your bank accounts. If they were to work, it would be an easier living, wouldn't it? There's no straightening it out. We just keep getting into these stories that get you. Judges is what I got to touch on next. South Carolina, Charlotte. Let's go there. This is the truth. I've double checked it 3 times to make sure I'm not giving inaccurate information. I've got her name here. Let me find this of what it was. I'm not going to pronounce the first name correctly, so we'll use her middle name and last name. Michelle Austin was her name. I have no way to pronounce her first name. And there's video of this. She rammed a cop with a car. He's standing in front of the car. She takes her car, attempts to hit him, and he's thrown to the ground. He lives, but he was still struck by a car. He's a law officer telling her to stand down, stop, get out. She got a $3,000 bond. She got out. She gets indicted for an assault with a deadly weapon. She still got no jail time. Same woman rams a second man with her car 3 weeks later after ramming the police officer. She gets a $10,000 bond. She gets out. The charges were dismissed, and she walks free. It was a judge that done that, and that's where all that was tying to. If we don't have judges that uphold American law that's already passed and not interpret it in some weird way, our country's in for a down spiral. Oh, it's already headed there, isn't it? Let's hope that there's enough out there that understand the law and know the law that will fix all of this stuff. Here's something sad that we see this morning. A bald eagle, known to be Jackie, has passed away. They've been watching this bird. We certainly hate that. The bald eagle represents our country, does it not? Where was this at? Florida. I highly suggest, if you're in Florida, never to go swimming in any pond, any lake whatsoever. Anyone want to know where I'm going with this? There's gators in them there ponds, and it did not work out for this lady. She lived, but as she swam, she lost an arm. Gators do not play, and they're starting to be increased around here. Now, I have not quite understood why they're always on these endangered lists that won't allow you to protect yourself, but I don't trust them. Anything that will eat me is open game. I'll say that. If it comes after me, I'm protecting myself. Do what you may, but I'm going to protect myself there. All right, one last story here, and then we'll get into the weather. I'm going to go down, as I mentioned judges a minute ago. Let me go down this and just read this of how this turned out. A man has been arrested 22 times in the last 6 years. He was arrested for trying to do the awful thing to a woman, let me word it that way, in Dathan Park in the bathroom there in Savannah, Georgia. All this takes place in Georgia. Again, arrested 22 times in 6 years. 30-year-old LaWasha Dole has been arrested 8 times this year. This is the same guy, 8 times this year so far. He was released from jail 17 days before he attempted this on the lady in that restroom. Judge Clary Williams is the one that let him out. Again, he had a record of 22 arrests. So far this year, had already had 8 arrests and was still allowed to leave jail. I think we have a problem, Houston. That's my 2 cents on that. We'll be right back with that weather forecast.
We chose to use Environment Masters for our maintenance needs. So I get the phone calls. It's time for your, checkup. We want to schedule you. I appreciate that. That's really helpful.
Our Priority 1 maintenance program gives us the chance to do in-depth maintenance twice a year. We fix small problems before they become big problems. We change filters, clean and calibrate your system so it operates safely and at peak efficiency, all included in your membership. That's hassle-free plumbing and AC.
Hi, friends at Honda of Law.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA.
As we look at our record highs and lows back in 2007, we were 102 degrees today. Actually, it was 1990 there. We had a cool day, 60. As we look back on the coolest day, we've got 95 today. Could see rain as you get up into Noxubee County, up toward Columbus Air Force Base, up through Elvis country there on the west side of the state. We'll see 95, 97 down the Mississippi River, and 91 in Gulfport, 95 here in Meridian. As we look to tonight, really virtually the same as is right now. 75 is what we're holding at. 76 for tonight in Meridian. We'll see 75 through Philadelphia and Louisville. Maybe 78 there near Memphis, and to the Gulfport area, 78 in Biloxi as well. Over in Bama, we'll see 93 popping up there in Livingston and about 91 in Birmingham. Over in Montgomery, 93. As chances of rain over toward Anniston. Not anything huge, but there's a chance there. Now, as I mentioned, 105 degrees is expected on the temperature side today of the heat stress side, and that does take in all of this area, including Hattiesburg and our area, up to Louisville and west over to Scott County. Once you get into that barrier coming into Brandon, it's going to get hotter. All the way back to Vicksburg, Brookhaven, those areas, and even up in the Delta, we'll see 110 today on the heat index side. It was warm yesterday. This will make you ill if you stay out in it too late, so watch yourself. look at tomorrow through Thursday. Boy, we'll see 110 here in the Meridian area, basically all over the state of Mississippi. Could see 110. So that's what's in store for us for the remainder of the week. Just hot weather. Look at that. Above average. Look at that little circle there starting at right at Meridian and northward. Woof, woof, and woof. Hot. Here's what we've got for the temperature side today. 94 to 95. 10% chance of rain today and tomorrow. High of 95 again tomorrow. Nighttime lows are ditto all the way through next Monday. About 75 to 76 at nighttime, but the temperatures just keep climbing. Look at this. Thursday, 96. We're holding steady at 97 through the weekend and 98 as we begin the first of the week there on Sunday. Now, as we top that, move into, look at this. We could see Tuesday, the 18th through the 20th, it topping and getting three-digit figures of 100, even 99 on the 21st of August. We're going to watch all this, and you can sure bet that we could see some of that 115 heat index sides once it reaches that. It's going to be unbearable here mid-August. So pace yourself. Be ready. Roofers, God bless you. I feel for you. Pavers, time for a vacation, isn't it? As we look at our fishing forecast for today, the wind's going to be calm about 5 miles an hour. If you're going to your favorite fishing place, 11 to 1 during that hot time is the perfect time. We do have another time this afternoon, right at, let's call it 6:30 until 7:30, till dark there, minor time to fish. Sunrise happened at 6:16, and we're losing another minute. 7:44 for sunset is what we've got. Now, let's go take a look at radar and see what Mother Nature has on Doc's Toyota radar as we pull that up this morning. Look at that. Already the heat advisory for the west side of the state there. It'll come for the Meridian area a little bit later today. Bet your boots on it. It's coming there. We see that portions of Florida, Apalachicola, all the way down to Gainesville, these areas up through Savannah already have a heat advisory. We've got fog popping up through northern Georgia into the Carolinas and a little bit there in just north of Knoxville. We've got rain as we get into Charleston, West Virginia, those areas there. Huntington, a few showers this morning. Thunderstorm warning happening here over at White Sulphur Springs as we get into those areas. And even up in Indiana, look at this. We've got a few showers going on up here as well this morning there. Severe thunderstorm warnings happening there. Boy, that's some tough weather coming across there. Ohio, look at that. Severe thunderstorm warnings and flash floods happening there. So be careful those areas. Even in Iowa, we've got a few showers and thunderstorms this morning. As we look at this deep south area here from Dallas, Wichita Falls, Little Rock, even Nashville under this heat advisory as we look at that this morning there. Nothing too serious for the south other than heat is what we've got right now. 6:53 as we begin this day. Let's get it going. We'll be right back as we get our coffee made. Going to be back at the top of the hour with what's happening local. Join us, won't you? All happening here at the Scotty Ray Report. Join us.